Good morning, folks. How are you today? It's about 8:15 in the morning, and I wanted to get this video out early because my sister's gonna be picking me up in a while, and I didn't want to take a chance of not getting my walk in. So, and I didn't even finish my first cup of coffee. I just got it in my mind. I got to do it because later on this afternoon or tonight when we get back, that's the last thing I'm going to want to do is come out here and go walking. But so I had the energy. I had the energy, the will, the motivation to get out here and walk. Not only so that I can get my exercise, but I could put out a video for you guys today. I told you, you're helping me. You're motivating me. You're making me want to get out here too. But I looked on the computer today and I found that a young man up on one of the mountains, the high peak area in northern Adirondacks. Well, in the last November, he went missing. He was hiking up there, and a snowstorm came. An unexpected snowstorm came. He was only 22 years old. I think he was from Quebec, Canada. And they searched for him. They could not find this young man. Finally, they had to change it from a rescue to a recovery. And they went for a lot of days, and they couldn't find this man. That was sad. So I just found out that yesterday, because I've been looking, I kept looking to see if they found him for the last few months, and there was never a word about it. So I heard that they did find him. He was on Allen Mountain, one of the high peaks mountain, and they didn't go into any detail whether he fell off a cliff or got lost and off the path. I don't know what the details are, but they did find him. So, that's gonna put his families, as much as that hurts, that does put some, hopefully it will put some peace for the family. They'll be able to bury him. That's the dangers when you get out here walking. I mean, I think about that a lot. And now, even with camping sites and everything, you got to be careful. You got to be careful the spot that you choose. We had a flash flood a little south of the Adirondacks a year or two ago, and there were campers. And those campers, the water started coming in. Those campers had to be airlifted out of there. So it's nice to get out here, get your exercise, and enjoy the great outdoors, but there's a lot of dangers. I think about that. That's why I do carry some kind of protection. Because it's not only animals, but other human beings can cause problems. I pray not, but there's stories out there, true stories of people that have gone missing. Up in the Adirondacks here, a lot of people have gone missing. Out to have a good time, get exercise, and missing, and they never find him. And that's why, as much as it hurts about Leo DeFore, at least they found him. You know, the family doesn't have to live their whole life wondering. Well, we had a skier, and this is a true story too, up there in the high peaks a few years ago. This is a weird story, but this skier went out with a group of people. I think they were from Canada. I'm not sure. They might have lived up in North Adirondacks. But so this one guy in the group said, I'm going to go one last time around. And he went missing. They searched for him for days, helicopters, the whole 9 yards, trying to find this man. And they couldn't find him. But this is the weird part of the story. About a week or two later, he's in an airport in California. He still has his, this is weird, he still has his ski clothes on, ski suit. And he's a little disoriented, and they finally realized that he was the missing guy from the Adirondacks, so he was returned home. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to be suspicious of this story. You know, it would be tough to swallow. And, I mean, if I was his wife, I'm not sure I'd be buying into it. But they've done tests and everything on him, and, you know, psychological tests. And apparently there is some kind of a disorder where you can become disoriented and not remember days at a time what happens. Now, this man had a vague memory of being in the truck. So anyway, so those are the kind of things that could happen to you when you're outside. But oh my, it's beautiful to be outside. And this time of the morning is so cool. I'm just loving it. And look at that, I went around one time already. So I'm noticing a difference, folks. I'm noticing it, and it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It's not worth, you know, I wouldn't change this for a box of ring dings. Let me just put it that way. You know, I like the outdoors, doing things like that. Camping and hiking. You know, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. But I know down in the city, when I used to live in the big city, down in New York City, there were parks and school tracks, and they let you go on the school track. That's where I was a few days ago, on a school track. And they've always let me go on school tracks. Maybe not a private school, but a public school. So, if you can't get to a park or anything, between schools, school tracks, and cemeteries, it's got to be a place to get a little exercise, get a little sunshine, get a little fresh air. You'll have hope. It'll give you hope again. Every day I think I get a little more hope. I don't want to go back to that. And I know I sometimes talk very confident that I won't ever, but, you know, it's at the back of my mind. You know, because I failed so many times before. It's still at the back of my mind, and that's where I want it to stay. Now, and I know if I take a day or two off from walking, it's dangerous for me to do that, because that's falling right back into my own old patterns. That's why I didn't want to miss today. I know I went yesterday, but I want to go as often as I can. But I do need my breaks sometimes in between to let my legs rest. Listen to the body. The body will tell you every time. You need to take a rest. You got to take a rest. And that's why I stopped walking. You know, my sister walks too, but she's faster than me. And I tried to keep up with her a while back, and I did. But for the most part, I like to go at my own pace. And somebody reminded me, and thank you, for the word HIIT is what it is, HIIT. I think it's high intensity interval training. That's where you're going at a regular pace, and every so often you go faster, and then for a minute or two, and then you slow down back to your normal pace. And I might start doing that when I could get better here, get into a normal pace, because right now I think I'm more or less like a crawl compared to others. But that's the beauty. You know, you take care of yourself. You have to do it at your own pace and make sure you don't injure yourself. Oh, I see a truck over there. Might be the Undertaker. You see, now this is Sunday morning, and yeah, I think it's the Undertaker. And I don't normally like to come to the cemetery on Sundays, but it was so early, and I didn't think anybody would be here, and I'm wrong, because now there's another car there. Well, I just don't want to be walking around. You know, I don't think it's right. She's leaving. She's just going around on the other end. I'm going to do my last walk and get out of here. I'm lying. She pulled in next to me. Maybe she's going to walk. But I don't like to be here when it's busy and there's a lot of people, you know, paying their respects to their loved ones. And me walking around on the outside, I don't like that. So Sundays I usually stay out of here. But like I said, I wanted to get this walk in before, because I won't do it later. I know it. Look at me go, huh? You see that? Now, this is like my 14th or 15th video. Now, it's not all in my mind that I'm doing better. If you look back at my very first video, I could barely walk. And I don't even see that bouncing too much right now because of my tilted pelvis. Am I imagining this? I just feel like I'm... I know it. Things happen fast. You know, I've experienced it. But my God. I tell you what. It is nice to be able to look back on these. And you can actually see what you're doing. Start a YouTube channel, folks. And if you don't want to do that, record yourself. And, you know, keep it for yourself. Because this is going to be valuable. This is going to be very valuable to me to look back on this. I was flying for a few seconds. So I'm sticking with the 3 laps. And I think that's what I'll stick with this week. Unless I'm feeling better. That I can go four times. Now, when I make it 4 times around here, that's going to be 1 mile. And that's my first goal. Get up to 1 mile. And then from there, I want to go even more. But it's going slow. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to push it. Not this time. So I have to tell you, today is my last day of 1 glass of soda. I've been cutting down. I used to drink 2 glasses of soda a day in the afternoon, give me that kick. And all week, I think I was going too fast. I'm out of breath. All week, I cut it down to just 1 glass of soda. And you know what? That was fine. I didn't really notice not having that second glass. So last night, I made sure to stop and get some of that unsweetened tea I told you about. So I'm going to replace the soda with the unsweetened tea. And then only 1 glass. Because I don't need more than that. And on this diet, this ketovore carnivore diet is what I'm on probably. Ketovore, not carnivore maybe. Because I eat cheese and I do spices. So I don't need 2 glasses of unsweetened tea either, I don't think. I have the energy. You'll love it, folks. You'll change your life one day at a time. I'm looking up at the lines in the sky. Do you see that? They're talking about, I don't know if those are just from planes. It's just funny the way that they're crisscrossed. And I don't know if you've heard, but they are talking about trying to cut out the sun so the earth doesn't get so hot. That happens a lot down in Florida. And speaking of Florida, I heard a few days ago that somebody was killed by an alligator. She was on a canoe with her husband, and I guess their canoe went over top of an alligator, and the alligator started, splashing around there and knocked the woman out of the canoe. She didn't make it. Out there, I'm sorry for these disasters, but these are the things you got to be aware of. Out there having a good day, and it ends. That quickly it ends. So, thank God I don't have alligators up here, but I got those snakes, deadly snakes too. They hide underneath logs, and you don't want to let your dog, as much if I had a dog, when I did have a dog, if nobody was around, I did let my dog run loose. Years ago that was. I used to go up, and at one place I went where I told you he used to go into the creek. But nobody was around. But the stories you hear about these deadly snakes or toads or whatever. A dog down in Florida licked a toad and got sick, deathly sick, but thank God they got to him in time and they saved him just by licking a toad. Who would imagine that? Anyway, I'm back to my car. Thank you for joining me today, folks. This is the start of a new week. I always started my diets on Monday morning. People used to laugh at me. I used to say, Monday's my day. And that would give me the okay to eat whatever I want all weekend until Monday, because Monday's the day I'm going to start. Unbelievable. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Thank you so much for subscribing and coming on my journey with me and giving me motivation and the tips that you give me. I am so thankful. I appreciate it. And I hope those of you that are struggling to get started even will get out there and take one step at a time. Never mind a half a block. Just do 10 steps if that's all you could do. Anyway, thanks again, folks. Have a wonderful day. Bye.